Thanks for inviting me, Rifkin.
Yeah, no, thanks so much for coming. It is, I will still say, it's a little bit weird not casting at home. Like, this is, oh, there's no game heart. We forgot to get game heart, guys. Oh, no, what is this setup? Oh, okay. We're going to hop into this, and we'll probably have to go download that afterwards. And I'll figure out my settings and stuff, too. But we are in-game, so let's just hop into it. It's the first game of the best of 5, so you guys know where the score stands. And I definitely got to turn that game sound down, so 1 second. Sure, it's just master volume. Boom. All right. Hopefully that's gonna be good for everybody. If it's too low, it's too high, let us know. I'll be keeping an eye on Twitch chat best I can. Do me a favor though. We did tweet about the match going live. If you guys got Twitter, hit it up. Hit that retweet button as we get into the game. All right. So, Libby, you ready to start this?
I am ready, Rifkin. Let's do it.
All right. We don't see him a lot, guys. We're spawning here in the bottom right corner of the map. Whoa, this keyboard setting is huge. It's gonna be the yellow Protoss player, Kiwikaki.
Also known as Washed Up Nub. Opposing him, in the top left corner of Ruin of Saras, the red Zerg player goes by Ace or Bly.
Yeah, it's funny actually. Kiwikaki, I guess it's kind of funny. His girlfriend, I think it's his girlfriend, started following me on Twitter, and anytime we would cast like a Kiwikaki game, she would like favorite or retweet about like what was going on, and then like unfollow me like immediately afterwards. Then like the next time we cast Kiwikaki, same deal. It'd be like a follow and a retweet. I'm like, what's going on? Am I pissing her off? I don't know. But I was really glad to see. We reached out to Kiwikaki a little while ago. It's one of the I think it was a Gnome John Archon mode cut. For some reason that thread got some beef going in it. I don't know what's going on, but like Nurchio, Night End, and Kiwikaki were all fighting with one another. And I was like, oh dude, Kiwikaki, man, if you really want to play it, like just let me know. We throw a ton of legacy content, Archon mode, single 1v1s. If you want to play any of that, just let us know. I'd love to have you. So he said, sure, just shoot me a message, and I did, and I was really glad that he came out to play. The other matchup for today, guys, is going to be Beastie versus Puck. And again, the winner of these two best of 5s will play each other. And every best of 5 today is worth about $75.
Nice. Total of 300, is it?
A little less than that. We're going to actually keep some of the money and try and redo this WCS-style show match thing.
Nice.
Because I want to test that format still that we had discussed of doing it differently, but obviously can't really do that on the fly, and everything kind of falling apart on me with the plane dying and whatnot. Ugh.
No! Plane, why? Alright. Well, Washed Up Nub, Kiwikaki. Which one should we call him? I like Washed Up Nub a little better, not gonna lie.
Washed Up Nub's hilarious, but it is, in my mind, always gonna be Kiwikaki. I didn't know him when he was like in his heyday, I guess. You know, you got that clip of like, I think it was like Day 9 casting the Mothership Core, sucking in all the Broodlords. Everyone's seen that, but I was never live for that, so I've always kind of heard of this legend. And when he came back to play Legacy, I thought it was really cool. And the first couple of weeks, he was actually really good at it.
Yeah, I would suspect a lot of players to be really good at Legacy. It's more micro-based, just because they've kind of eliminated a few macro mechanics. And well, I think that works in a lot of pro gamers' favors, actually, because they're just so good at micro regardless.
Right, and him and TT1 have just been tearing up the ladder, frankly. Between the two of them, they've had most of the top spots on both Archon mode and single player. So, while we haven't seen him play a lot of tournaments, Kiwikaki's certainly been keeping up with the game. But I want to go back to Bly for a moment, because Bly was, at a very small time, the king of the beta. Nobody could beat this guy. His burrowed roach play was unparalleled. He was just too tough of an opponent to deal with. But according to him, this new patch makes Protoss super OP. So I don't know if he's referring to like the Colossus getting their range back, or what the situation is that makes him upset. But Kiwikaki getting some nice drone kills for
that's really nice. But the Adept does get cleaned up. When the Adepts actually get accumulated in high numbers, though, Speedlings are just not going to be able to deal with that. So you do see Bly throwing down that Roach Warren. He did scout the 3 gateways at the front of the natural as well for Kiwikaki. Yeah. So it's going to be like, oh, there's probably some gateway pressure going down. He's probably going to scout now whether he's going to be taking third or whether he's going to be expecting a 2-base play from Kiwikaki. Sees that third base, knows what's up. He knows that he could probably drone a little bit more severely now.
One of the interesting things for this too is we do have, I mean, it's going to be Roach speed is Bly. If he didn't go Roaches, I'd be honestly shocked. Unfortunately, while the burrow and speed and all these other things are getting looked at and tweaked and moved around, the reality is that you still go for roaches just because they can take the adept hits one way or the other. Ling Hydra can work in some situations, but a lot of the time we're starting to see more things like massive depths complemented by like 1 or 2 disruptors, or especially the Colossus. I'm really curious, actually. We haven't cast a lot of games since that patch, and I am curious if the Colossus range was enough to bring them back into the matchup. I mean, it was one range was the difference for those who don't know the context of it. Either way, Bly pulls the drones out of the third, so keeps them all alive. This is good.
Yeah, there's just so many adepts here as well. If Kiwikaki is able to split this up, which we do see him going into the main base with these now, this might get a little bit out of control for Bly. He only just started his roach production, so a lot of drones might actually be lost here for Bly in the meantime.
Yeah, this is the problem with the adepts. They're really tanky even without that upgrade, and the reality is they'll kill quite a few drones before going down, even if you want to suicide those ones in, but he doesn't. He gets them out alive, and can I even look at resources lost? Ugh. Where's Game Heart when you need it? Kiwikaki's lost 1 adept so far this game. Everything he's done has been so cost effective.
Yeah, and Bly's just got to be on his toes 100% of the time. If the adepts, you know, hallucinate through, or what is it, phase mode?
Psionic Transfer. It's a silly name, but it sounds really cool.
Oh,
but, yo,
it sounds awesome.
Before I talk about Psionic Transfer, I gotta give some love. Not only did Nathanius just sub for 14 freaking months in a row, CGTF2 did 21 months. What?
Nathanius hype, man.
Dude, Nathanius hype, but CGTF2 21 month hype. Oh my god, thank you so much, both of you guys, for supporting us.
Wow, that's a crazy amount of months.
This is interesting. Phoenix coming out of Kiwikaki. I'm really curious about this. Okay, cancel the Void Rays. This one makes a little more sense after seeing the Roaches. I like the Phoenix because there's a lot you can do with Mass Phoenix. It's kind of gross, but the Void Rays will be really good at keeping these Roaches down. Chrono Boost also being applied to that Stargate.
I think this will be really good for Kiwikaki in the late game to actually use the double Stargates to transition to maybe like carriers.
Well,
carriers, when built up in large numbers, are just so hard to deal with, especially if you don't have the bank.
Oh, every race. Yeah, every race doesn't like dealing with that right now. The problem is, like, if you want to go something like Hydras, you can't. The Adepts will take care of those too easily. If you do go Mass Corruptor, there's already a bunch of Void Rays waiting for you. You're also going to have a bad time. It's nice that there's that end game you can shoot for, but the Void Rays will get the job done for the time being. And he goes right back into the Phoenix right afterwards.
Yeah, you do see actually Kiwikaki have the supply lead here, and with the economy advantage, because both of them, as you see, on an equal basis, and Zerg really doesn't want to be in that situation. Even in Legacy of the Void, it's similar to Heart of the Swarm in that regard. The creep spread also isn't the best here for Bly because of the Adept Harass in the early game. I feel like the longer this game goes on, Kiwikaki is just going to be taking a very strong lead.
Yeah, I am. Oh, this is so cool. I really like these going for the air weapon upgrades. There's a lot of really cool factors that involve potentially going for carriers, like you said, but I am curious if this will go Mass Phoenix. It's funny because when we used to cast a lot of the 2v2s, that was the strategy, right? Just go Mass Phoenix. But there are Immortals coming in. He knows the Roaches is going to be a problem. Bly gets a lot of Roaches into this middle line. Kiwikaki quickly reacts by pulling the probes, but not before losing quite a few. And Bly, who was really far behind in the workers killed and the resources lost, finding himself putting himself on even footing.
Those Burrow Roaches actually move quite quickly as well. I remember them not moving so quickly. So I think they did get a Burrow movement speed upgrade.
Yeah, there's been a lot of looks at this too where they've been saying it's too fast, and to be honest, I agree a lot of the time because detection, especially for Protoss, a little bit more janky, a little bit more difficult to deal with. But Bly does get a couple more over here hidden. It does take only 3 Roaches to one-shot a probe, so that's what kind of the magic number is. And once Kiwikaki leaves his base later, Bly will probably just leave these waiting for a while. That's one of the things he's really good at is patience. I've seen him go up to 8 minutes where he had 3 Roaches in every mineral line in the ZVZ and just waited and waited and waited. Like 8 minutes later, Burrows gets all the kills. So unless Kiwikaki knows there's some still hiding around here, he's got to be very careful. In fact, Bly may have overshown his hand by Burrows this one for a kill. It's a free kill, but it wasn't worth it to reveal everything.
Yeah, behind this harass, Bly is trying to saturate a 4th base. He is also going into lurkers behind this as well, so this is actually really nice against a gateway composition. The problem being that Kiwikaki does have that double Stargate, and the Phoenix production is continuing. So
I can talk about this. I asked permission to talk about this. So we've been complaining about the lurker sound forever, right? And ZombieGrub even made a video about it for comparing the sounds of the Brood War lurkers. We got a sneak peek at what the new lurker sound sounds like, and I specifically asked, like, can I tell people about this because we've been complaining about it for so long? And they're like, yeah, sure, not a problem. So there is like a new lurker sound coming, and it sounds so much cooler than the version that's available.
Really? That's awesome. Lurkers are pretty badass.
Yeah, it was kind of sad before because you had these units that would devastate an army and it would just sound like someone's pouring sand out of a bag or something. But this would be really good for helping deal with the Adepts. The biggest thing about the Lurkers is they're not going to deal bonus damage to an Adept, but they've got 9 range, so they'll be able to certainly take this on. Phoenix being flown a little bit haphazardly over the Hydras, though.
Oh, 3 Phoenixes did go down as well. That was actually a nice pick off for Bly. Definitely not going to get him back into this game just with 3 Phoenix losses, but those are definitely the engagements or pickoffs that he needs to have a game changer at this point.
Yeah. The Hydra count is massive, but the problem is the mobility. Keeping up with Phoenix is never going to be easy, but he does keep picking them off, and the thing about Phoenix is they need to snowball. You can't have just 7 and be happy with them. You need 13, you need 15, you need a lot. So they're pretty cheap, they're not that bad to deal with, but Kiwikaki is throwing down a 3rd Stargate.
Yeah, 3
Really
Stargate production. I like that from Kiwikaki. He's probably going to actually start making carriers here pretty soon.
I was wondering where Bly's bank went. 8 Lurkers are really expensive to make.
And that would be really nice against like a gateway composition that Kiwikaki has remaining left over from the early game, but he's not continuing the gateway production. He's actually going into the Phoenix production. Oh, actually now he's producing 7 Adepts, maybe to do some harass, multiple harass with Phoenixes in one base, and then Adepts
the Adepts
psionically transferring.
That's a potential, sure, but they'll be able to take out those Hydras like nobody's business. Let's not forget Hydras do suffer from the light armor deficiency that the Adepts tear through, so 25 damage a shot, they're gonna really quickly level that Hydra army. Because that's the problem, right? You pick, you either kill the Adepts or you kill the air. You can't do both, and
For sure.
This could get a little bit nasty. But there's so many Phoenix. It's almost going to be at this point where Kiwikaki can come in and just Graviton beam up half the Hydralisks. Just crowd control half right out of the fight.
Yeah, and then the Adepts just clean up the rest, and that's just going to be so hard for Bly to deal with. The good thing, though, for Kiwikaki is that he's continually going for those upgrades, whereas Bly only just finished his Evolution Chamber for double upgrade, I guess,
Yeah,
production.
he's had no upgrades because he's had to invest in units, and that's understandable. So a lot of what he wants to do is buy time with these borrowed roaches and other shenanigans, but I really love the Vipers. Parasitic Bomb is going to destroy these Phoenix if Kiwikaki's not quick enough to separate them. And the problem is, when you've got this many Phoenix, it's going to be really hard to find the one that's got the debuff, the one that's got the actual Parasitic Bomb on it. So if Bly can buy enough time for these Vipers to get enough energy, I mean, keep in mind, guys, they recently changed, or I guess not recent anymore, but they changed it so you can no longer cast 2 per Viper. It's 125 energy, not 100, but the amount of damage this thing deals is devastating, and it's a huge area of effect.
Oh, it's going to be absolutely beautiful if Bly can get this Parasitic Bomb off, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Nice little roach.
Well, yeah, the roach is cute, but Kiwikaki's going for disruptors. I like this. I haven't seen these versus Zerg yet. I've only seen these in PvP so far.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the disruptor choice here from Kiwikaki. I feel like he's actually throwing away his edge, letting Bly max out, build up a bank, and not going into, like, carriers.
Oh, there we go with the Parasitic Bombs on top of the Phoenix, trying to split these up, but look at the damage the Phoenix are taking already. Most of these almost dead, killing each other in the air. Phoenix are all about to dissipate. So many of these are in the red, but the Hydras are, as predicted, being destroyed by the Adepts.
Where are the Lurkers? None of them are, like, there's only 2 of them engaging in this army fight.
Yeah, they're spread out really far.
Yeah.
And there's an observer detecting for this, but you know, despite how devastating that looked, both players do kind of come out of this on even footing. The Vipers live, most of the Adepts were died, and they're kind of cheap and disposable. But oh my god, Livia, we got 3 disruptors at a time being built right now. 3. These things are so they're so expensive, guys. They're just so expensive. 200 gas, 100 minerals. It's not as bad as the original cost of 300 gas, but still expensive nonetheless.
Oh, for sure. And Bly's actually probably looking to push out here pretty soon. And I feel like disruptors actually do quite decently against Lurkers.
Yeah, the nice thing is, I think the Lurker can take 1 hit from the disruptor. It will take 2, so if he's clumped up, it could get them all killed. But if he's spread out, if he moves, that little, I don't even know if you want to call it a scare, but whatever the disruptor shoots is not that big of a deal. In fact, what's it called? Purification Nova. Ooh.
Fancy.
He's going to burn the Lurkers. Unfortunately, though, the army's going to get devastated! A lot of the Hydras pop off. The Lurker's really low. Another Scarab coming in. Or not Scarab, sorry. Purification Nova. Abducts on top of the Disruptor is obviously the best case scenario to actually bring them into the fight, but the Lurkers are taking those hits, and Bly's army just melts away. That supply lead was dominant before. Now he's barely got 100.
I mean, I feel like Bly, he took a pretty decent engagement. He dodged the side disruptors decently enough. The problem was that his army composition was just so Hydra heavy. Like, there was no roaches to tank for anything. No Ultralisks were out. No bulk tanky army I guess, part of the army to actually tank the Adepts. So the Adepts wiped out those Hydras so quickly, and the Lurkers were left exposed.
Well, we do have Ultras on the way now. The problem is, though, they're not going to have those upgrades. That's the biggest deficit in this game, I think. Kiwikaki's sitting here at almost 3-3, whereas Bly's barely got 1-1. He's got no upgrades for the Lings, the melee. Those Ultras, do they even have chitinous plating? No. So they're going to pop out and probably just die to the Immortals. They're just going to melt, frankly. More Lurkers do get made here.
5 more Lurkers, but, a little bit of a...
There's such a lack of anti-air here. I would have really liked to have seen a Corruptor or two built into Bly's army just to snipe the Observers if nothing else. But everything here gets picked off pretty quick. The Purification overhurts those Lings. It even touches the Ultras. Blinding Cloud goes down, but not going to matter because Bly's fighting away from his Lurkers again.
This Ultralist was so low, like you said, Rifkin. No chitinous plating. And the upgrades as well have been stored for Bly to... He has to spend his resources on army because he really just can't afford it, especially with that 3rd base being taken out. And he didn't transfer the drones to his newly made 5th base. So,
you know, this is just a kind of a gross game to watch. Bly is a player who has, for his career, been about mobility. He likes Mutalisks, he likes Burrow Roaches, he loves moving things around. I think the Lurker is just too different of a unit for him. Because there's so many fights where these aren't really properly involved in the fight. They're just stuck burrowed in the back.
Yeah, he's just not engaging with them in the fight, as you said. Like, the first fight we saw it happen so devastatingly. Like, the Phoenixes were taken out, which was beautiful for Bly, and that was his chance. But just imagine if he engaged with his Lurkers in that fight. It would have been so one-sided. He could have counterattacked. He could have probably wiped out a base behind that as well, taken his own base and been ahead in economy. But now we just see Kiwikaki is maxed out Protoss against Bly with half the supply.
Yeah, he's still going for more Lurkers, and I don't think Lurkers are necessarily a bad choice at all. It's just that they're not going to have any support. Bly can maybe get a couple of the ducks off, and the Lurkers will get some shots, sure, but shy of that. New base getting found out as well. 17 drones just going to have to run for their lives. Oh no! As the Immortals come in here too, the hash is just going to go down. Bly's got no money to fall back on, and that's the problem, right? Legacy, right? Just legacy things. He's pretty much mined out of his natural, his main's gone. With this additional bases dying, he's nowhere close to maxing out. There's just no way he takes a fight versus Kiwikaki.
Yeah, he needs to go for some sort of base trade scenario. Base trade TV hype. That's the only way I can see it really working, but his units just aren't mobile enough.
Yeah, and I also just can't see that working because Kiwikaki has too many bases. He's taking more as we speak. I mean, Bly could never actually race this out properly.
I mean, Legacy of the Void... It seems like Protoss is the Zerg play with how many bases Kiwikaki has going on.
Well, this game at least. I don't know about Legacy of the Void in general, but at least this game. Bly's going for so many Lurkers, though. And you'll notice he spread them out this time, and that's great. With 9 range, they can kind of afford to be a little bit spread out, but curiosity does strike with how does he plan to actually use this. There's so many Immortals in this army. They're going to have that barrier, that auto-cast now, so you don't miss it. And, of course, it's going to soak up so much damage.
And that is just such a huge Protoss army. Just walking around the map.
Yeah, Bly can't do anything.
Free to go wherever he goes.
This looks a little bit silly out of Kiwikaki, right? But he's put a fleet beacon down. He's getting more gateways. He's going to have this massive bank. But he also knows that with the devastation that Lurkers can cause, he can't really afford to just haphazardly move in and assume he'll win the game. So it looks silly and it looks stupid, but he is playing it safe than sorry in this situation. Bly just has this whole border of Lurkers spread out across his bases. That
is a lot of Lurkers. We do have 17 Lurkers for Bly. I mean, if Kiwikaki does bunch everything up, doesn't get any side structure shots off, then, you know, it could be a really nice engagement for Bly. Oh, 1 Lurker being taken down for practically nothing. I mean, the shields were damaged there on those side structures. Oh, very nice Viper pulls, getting 1 disruptor there.
The Immortals are actually being killed. Actually, on purpose. He didn't have the supply to make the mothership, which he is now making.
He really wants that mothership. Just to seal the deal.
It's not like Cloak will do him a lot of good. There are spore crawlers all over the place, but I think he's just, again, playing this as safe as he can. Bly, Kiwikaki knows. All he has to do is keep denying Bly's bases. Bly is seriously starving out here. He's barely got any gas this weekend at all.
Yeah, and Bly really needs the space. Like, he's pretty much starving for gas at this point.
See, this is why Kiwikaki didn't want to move in like this. Like, he's taking a really good fight, but all of his army's getting just trucked in the process. He's lost a ton of stalkers, half the immortals have died, and he's only killed about half the lurkers. This was a really good defensive position and a great defensive fight out of Bly. Not enough to win him the game, but this is just proof of why Kiwikaki didn't want to just A move and try to win the game. Because it's how you throw a match you've already won.
Yeah, definitely.
Bly's trying to take like a ninja base, by the way, on the right side of the map while this goes on.
The probe sees it though.
Yeah. Again, if all these observers died, there would be no detection. There's no Oracle for Revelations, no nothing like that. Like, doesn't matter. Bly's gonna GG and tap out. Game number 1 gonna go to Kiwikaki. And that's gonna give me a second here to figure out how to get up game heart, guys. So thank you all for joining us here in the Blizzard offices. We got Livy B casting from home. She's gonna head out to DC. What did you say, tomorrow, was it?
Yes, tomorrow.
Tomorrow, all right. Yeah, thank you guys so much. We're going to get some, hopefully, stream stuff fixed up here for a sec. We'll go to a small ad break while we do. When we return, game number